Hello, welcome to the podcast. My name is Caitlin. If you are new, then welcome. Glad you're here. If you have listened to multiple episodes of mine, then I thank you and I'm surprised you're back. I'm glad that you're getting something out of this. I know I haven't been on in like 5 days. Still kind of am. You can kind of hear I'm very nasally. I'm pretty sure it's a sinus infection. Blech. It's been about a week now. It's been exactly a week now since I've been feeling like this, so great. What can I do, other than just keep muddling through. I got a lot of sleep. I took a long weekend because I just was feeling god-awful on Thursday and was like, nope, I can't do this. I'm not coming in on Friday. And yeah, that was definitely for the best. I slept for 12 hours like I told everybody I was gonna do. I needed to rest. I had pushed through doing my normal thing for 4 days in a row, and I just couldn't take it anymore. But I'm doing a bit better today. I mean, my head still hurts. It's like never gonna go away. But at least I'm here, and it never like went to my throat. I'm like, it's weird. I've never had a cold where I didn't have a sore throat or like drainage or anything. Like, I've never had this before, so I mean, I guess I'll be grateful for that. But yeah, I'm trying not to think about how boring today's gonna be. I do have a sales meeting and an ops meeting and a very short presentation, which is hilarious because when I started this job 6 months ago, I also had like a cold and sinus infection. So it's like every time I give a presentation, I'm sick. So that's great. Would love to be able to do a presentation when I am well, but whatever. Hopefully what I say will make sense, and it's only like a couple minutes anyways, so I'll just power through it. But I also just like don't want this day to feel super long, and I'm like by myself. So I'm gonna try to like, I don't know, do all the things to keep, like, preoccupy myself, because it gets really boring. I don't like working at this location by myself most of the time, just because I get bored. Like, I don't know, the ADHD side of me needs the like stuff to do. Like, I can't just be sitting here, but then sometimes that gets to be too much, so I need like a break. So I don't know, I guess it's probably a good thing that I have both, but I don't know. Right now I feel like the ADHD side is strong. I'm not sure. We'll see. Maybe it's just because I'm sick, and like normally I'd be able to preoccupy myself by like learning, doing my class, doing that kind of stuff, but my brain is not having it. I do have more lessons to go over, and I'm going to go over some to go over one at least today, but like I haven't learned anything new this week when it comes to this class, because my brain is just, I mean, if you've ever had a sinus infection, you know what it's like. It's just like constant pressure, and yeah, it just feels like half my brain's not working, but it's whatever. Yeah. I have a it's not a new hyperfixation. It's just, it's come back around. I think that a lot of people will relate on that, because especially for ADHD people, it's like your hyperfixations never really fully go away. You just, got all the dopamine you could get out of them for now, and then you'll go back to them later. At least that's how it is for me. So there's this one group that I like to listen to that makes me happy. Their music is just like, I don't know, it's relatable, but more on a surface level than on like a super deep level. I don't know. It's one of the only groups that I like to listen to that's like not emo, I guess. I mean, I like other music. It tends to be heavier with like heavier topics, and this one is not really. And it's more like EDM, which is not something I listen to at all. But I like this group. Like, I'm very particular. I like this one group, even though I know they're not the best. I don't care. There's just something about it that I like. And I've basically been listening to them as much as I can for a week straight now. Mostly the same, like 17, 18 songs, but I've listened to some of their other songs too. And yeah, like I'm not tired of it yet. I'm still like, I'm like draining all of the good vibes out of this music until I can't anymore. So yeah. But that's like all that I want to do too. It's like, I don't really want to do anything else. I want to be listening to them. And I don't know why. Like, it's a weird thing. And I know that a lot of neurodivergent people experience this, especially people who are autistic or ADHD. So yeah, that's how I'm going right now. Just same like 3 songs stuck in my head. But I enjoy it. I'm happy with that. I'm probably gonna listen to them more after this. 'Cause why not? Yeah. Anyways. My stomach's also been a little bit meh, which I'm not surprised. Like, anytime that I get sick at all, my IBS is like, haha, that's my cue. So like, I don't think it's like actually related to the whatever I have, but because at this point, I don't think I'm even contagious. Like, everything, like my mucus is clear. It's just like, there's just pressure. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just like trying to get through it. Yeah, I had like a 3-hour phone call with my best friend the other day. And wow, I don't do that, you guys. Like, listening and talking and responding and having like a conversation for 3 hours. Like, I enjoyed it. I would do it again. I just didn't realize how it would make me feel afterwards. Like, my head hurt. Like, my brain was just like, oh man, what did I do? Like, the last time I talked to her was like several months ago, and we do tend to talk for quite a long time, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. But that is kind of how I communicate, I don't really talk regularly. It's not something I do. Like, I don't think to talk to people on a regular basis. I don't know. That's one of the hard things about relationships, which is our topic today, is neurodiversity and relationships. So I think it's very fitting. But, like, it's hard for me to make friendships because people expect you to be more present than that. They expect you to be around, you know, and invested in their lives every other day, every week. Like, I don't know. It's, like, I don't even think about it. And I know that sound, like, I know the way that sounds. It sounds like, oh, I don't think about my friends. Like, I don't care about them. But that's not it. It's just, there's so many other things to think about. And I'm tired. And I have other things going on, like work. And just trying to, like, make it through some of that. And, like, there's a lot of pressures with work to, you know, make money, you know, gotta make sales, things that I, like, I knew there was a sales aspect to this job. I didn't realize how much of the job was sales. I don't think it was really accurately portrayed when I took the job. But I still like the job. I don't want to leave, but it's just like there's some other stressors that I wasn't anticipating. And just life stuff, trying to think about how to, you know, make enough money to move out. The fact that I'm gonna have to get a car before the summer because my AC is broken and my car's not worth fixing. So it's just like, there's a lot of other things to think about. It's not that I don't want to think about my friends or that they don't ever pop into my head, but it's like I don't think to reach out that often or call. Like, I'm not really much of a phone call person anyways. Like, again, it's draining for me to talk for that long. And so I just don't tend to even think to do that. I also just don't tend to find stuff going on in my life worth calling someone about. Like, I don't know. I feel like an inconvenience or something. But it's also like I just don't know what to talk about. So what's the point of calling someone if I don't even know what I want to talk about? Like, I just, like, getting to that point. Yeah, so more into this unit, understanding one's own neurodiversity, and communicating openly with partners to build strong connections. Stronger connections. I was like, what? My handwriting is not great. But yeah, it's definitely helped me to understand myself better, like, knowing that, you know, I have these things going on. It's hard for me to, like, I don't know, maintain relationships. It's nice to know that I'm not just a bad friend. You know, it's not a character flaw. It's just something that my brain isn't necessarily wired for. So it helps me not feel so guilty about it. And also, pretty much by this point in my life, all of my friends are either the same way or understand, just because everybody else has been weeded out, you know? Everybody else left, so the only ones left are the ones that are cool with the fact that I'm like this. But, you know, if I'm trying to make new friendships, which it's not that I wouldn't want to make new friends, it's just it's so much work. And yeah, I would most definitely be very upfront about these things. Like, hey, I'm not gonna think to call you. I will say I want to call you occasionally. Probably won't do it unless we actually put it on the schedule. We gotta plan that shit, because otherwise it's just not happening. And if you're not okay with that, then we probably shouldn't even try to be friends, because that's just how I am. And it's not personal at all. Yeah. I know some families who call each other all the time. My family never talks, really. My mom will talk to her mom, and that's pretty much it. I don't get it. I don't feel the need to call people all the time. I'll call them once every few months, maybe. But I don't even think about it. And yeah, maybe that's something that I should work on. Yeah, we don't have the best relationship, so maybe we should talk more, but it's gotta be a two-way street. Nobody's calling me either, you know? So, I don't know. It's just it's not just me, okay? I'm not the only one who's bad at communicating in my family. So I think, I get it from somewhere. It's not just me. Which is a huge reason why I really started diving into neurodiversity stuff, is because I'm it can't just be me, guys. It can't just be me. This stuff runs in the family. So who else, There's more of us. Yeah. But educating family members about neurodiversity to foster supportive and inclusive relationships. Learning, yeah, this one's tough. So, before I get into the next one, yeah, educating family and friends on neurodiversity is huge. People don't pay attention or care until it affects them or their loved ones. So if you are neurodivergent, talk about it if you can. Obviously, some people have situations where they really can't. But if you are safe to do so, talk about it, because the only time people are going to care is if it affects them or the people that they care about. I think it's important to be well educated before you talk to people, especially if you think they're not going to be supportive. Just because it's good to have some things in your pocket when you're talking to people. Things that you can come back to their arguments with, which is annoying that you even have to do that. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you really want to, open up the eyes of your loved ones to what this is all about, I think it's important in order to spread awareness. I think that, yeah, there's a lot we can do when it comes to like social media and spreading awareness to people we don't know. But I think that the most impact we can have are on the people that we do know. And it's also the hardest because they're the ones that can have the most impact on you if they don't believe you or they judge you or whatever. So I get why it's hard to do, and I'm trying really hard to be a voice, even though I am a very quiet person and not normally somebody who wants to speak up about anything. But yeah, it's something that's important to me, and I don't really care what people think of me. I mean, I do in some ways, but when it comes to this gives me a reason. This gives me hope. This gives me a sense of community, something bigger than myself. There's other people out there that deal with the same things that I do. And so I think that really outweighs whatever anybody could think of me. And I'm just grateful that I have the support of my immediate family. So I do understand, like, if you have no support system at all, like, this is going to be a whole lot more difficult. And I really hope that you can find that support system. If I can be of any use, then, you know, definitely let me know. I always put all of my contact information in the show notes. So if you need anyone to talk to, I'm happy to listen. Yeah, learning to express boundaries clearly to prevent misunderstandings. That is a hard one for me. I do not know how to set boundaries very well. I have tried. I am still trying. I'm never gonna give up trying to be good at this. Because I know how important it is, but I have a hard time knowing where to put a boundary, knowing, you know, is this really something I need to be putting a boundary on? Like, I question myself all the time. And then I'll set a boundary. And then something comes up and I'm like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe I can compromise here. And I do that all the time, where I'm just like, oh, but like, this thing's okay, I guess. And then the next time something comes up, I'm like, oh, but I can't do that. I'm like, oh, but you did this last thing. And it's like, yeah, but that was different. And, you know, then I will sometimes push through anyways and be like, okay, well, that was terrible, not doing that again. And then I have to, like, reinforce the boundary. And then, you know, it just kind of is a cycle of like, oh, maybe. And then, I don't know. It's like, it's my own waffliness when it comes to my boundaries. I tend to just isolate so that, like, nobody can cross my boundaries if I just don't talk to anyone. But then that's not really a good way to go about things either. So it's like, and then also my boundaries kind of change based on my capacity. So it's like, sometimes I'm able to do more things because I'm feeling well and I have more energy. But a lot of the times I don't have enough energy or mental capacity to do things. So it's like, I don't know. it's like trying to explain that, like, yes, this particular instance, I can do that because of these factors. However, that's not something that I can do regularly, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's still better, depending on the situation, if you can explain those types of things and people are understanding, then it's better to do that than to just like push through. But sometimes it's like, well, maybe I should just have a boundary and leave it there, and even if I am feeling well, I don't need to do those things. So it just depends on what it is. But again, this is something I really struggle with, so I don't think that I am preaching to you. Boundaries are hard. I tend to be a very, like, I don't care kind of person, you know? Like this guy who has been being a little, I'm assuming he's trying to be flirtatious with me at work. Again, social cues aren't my strong suit. But I've asked people. I've gotten second opinions because I don't know what, I know something's going on because I know I feel something when he talks to me where it's like, I think something's happening here that's not with most other people. But I can't tell what, like, I don't know. But I'm just like, I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. So then I, ask people, and they're like, yeah, no, that was weird. And then I'm like, oh, well, should I be like upset about this? And then I got a little bit upset about it. And then I was like, is that really me though? Like, I don't really care. And then it's like, why don't I care? Should I care? And I'm just like, no, I don't know, like, it doesn't really bother me unless he does something, like, I don't know, like, unless he does something really off the wall, which I don't think would happen, but if it does, then I'll be upset. But, like, at this point, he's just made a couple of weird comments. I find it kind of amusing, but I'm also like, I don't know, should I be more concerned about this? I don't know, because I have a really hard time with this stuff. I don't know where to put boundaries. I'm like, well, he hasn't done anything that was like that bad, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I have a hard time with that. Yeah. But whatever. It's just something that I'm like, I'll just keep my eye on it, and if anything gets to the point where I really don't like it, I'll say something, and I don't know. Yeah, like, I guess some people care more than I do. I just tend to not care about that kind of stuff. But I wonder if that's because I have a hard time really understanding what's going on anyways half the time, so I'm just kind of like, whatever. I don't really understand social cues, so just do whatever you want. If you're chilling, I'm chilling. So I don't know. I don't know if this is something anybody can relate to, but yeah. Developing social skills, understanding social cues, and training in support groups. Yeah. I never really had any of that. I learned how to talk to other people because I'm quiet. And I tend to watch other people. So I think people watching is really how I learned how to appear socially acceptable, I guess, in a lot of ways. Doesn't mean that most of the time I am. It just means that like I can put it on if I need to. Yeah, I know that like there's a lot of filtering that goes on because what I want to say and what I actually feel like I can say are usually totally different things. Because I've always got things coming into my head that I'm like, I can't say that. And occasionally it'll come out, but usually I'm good at catching it now because I've realized that when you don't catch it and people are like, what the hell did you just say? It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling when people make you feel bad for talking. So, for someone who already doesn't talk, when I do talk, I don't want to feel like I shouldn't have. So, yeah, I tend to be a little bit hypervigilant on that. It doesn't mean that I don't come across as weird, though. It just means that I don't come across as weird as I could be. So, yeah. But sometimes I just want to be myself and just like say all the weird shit that comes to my head, but I know that I can't do that because I gotta be professional, and yeah, well, I don't know. There's like certain people that I know I can say things to and it won't be a problem, but like I'd have to be careful. Yeah, sometimes I wonder like why is my brain like this? Like why do I have to think of random things that other people don't think of saying, or maybe they do think of it and they just don't say it out loud, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I want to be able to say things out loud. But yeah, setting and maintaining healthy boundaries is essential for self-preservation and well-being. It's something I'm trying. I'm learning. I'm trying. I'm grateful that when I do set a boundary, for the most part, it's respected. That's definitely a hard one, but you know, sometimes it's still like okay, we get that you said that about this thing, but is that about all of the things like that, or is it just that thing? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I tend to be very wishy-washy on my boundaries, so I'm trying to get better at that. Yeah. And identifying stressors and practicing self-care and regulation to promote mental and physical health. Yeah, so trying to be better about that too. Really focusing on what are the things that put a lot of strain on me, that are like just too much. That if I can remove those things, how different will my life look? Will I be able to do more of the things that I really want to do if I can remove some of the stressors in my life? And also remembering to practice self-care, because I tend to forget. Again, there's no way that I don't have both ADHD and autism. I have to have a routine or things just don't function. Like I just can't function as a human being. Like I have to have routines because I will forget everything. And that's part of the ADHD, where I can't, like, I just trying to remember to do the routine. Like I know it's there. Once I get into it, it's a habit. You know, once I start it, it's the starting. It's like I have these things. I know that I do this at this time every day, but I still will sometimes forget, and then I'm like, oh, dang it, I didn't do that thing at this time, and now I can't do it because it's not the right time, and it's like, okay. Yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a constant struggle, and I think that it, knowing that that's the case, trying to be more kind to myself when it's like, okay, it's just gonna happen. Don't beat yourself up over it. And, those things are important to put your energy towards. There are other things that I don't need to think about or don't need to do because that's not really serving me. But making sure that I'm doing my self-care routines, even if I mess it up, it's still extremely important. Man, my head is killing me. Yeah. Finding and fostering a community of affirming and understanding individuals to promote belonging and acceptance. I will say I do have a pretty accepting group of people here. I really appreciate them. At least at my work. I do think that I tend to be more vocal about stuff like this, but it's helped me find some people at work that also are neurodivergent, and it's cool to see that, and to be able to bond with people in a different way. I would like to have more friends that are neurodivergent or understanding, but I have a few. I have 2 friends that are neurodivergent and neurodivergent affirming, and I have one friend that, I don't know, mixed feelings on that. At one point I was like, oh yeah, definitely, and then at another point I'm like, oh, I'm not sure, but she just has some opinions that I don't agree with, but it's like, you're not gonna have, 100%, you're not gonna like 100% of everything that somebody else does, so it's mostly fine, but yeah, I think it's important for me because, this friend of mine tends to be more outspoken than I am, and I tend to just be like, oh yeah, sure. Maybe I need to have stronger opinions or vocalize what my opinions are, instead of just kind of going along. I tend to be a bit of a pushover, so even though, like, I know what my values are and what I believe, like, I tend to not necessarily verbalize that because it's easier than making waves. Like, I'd rather just not, I'd rather people stay happy than be unhappy because I decided to bring something up. But it depends on what it is and how important I feel it is. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see. I don't want to burn bridges or lose friends over anything, but it's like, I do have different views, and maybe I should express them sometimes. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go. My head is hurting. I'm gonna try and drink more fluids and just prepare for my little 2-minute. I'm doing my presentation on diversity and inclusion, which I feel is a really important topic considering how everything is going in America, but not just like, so I have to pick an article and like do the presentation off of it, and this one was mostly focusing on LGBTQ, but I decided I was going to make it all encompassing for LGBTQ, like racial and ethnic like differences, disabilities, like physical disabilities and mental disabilities. So I'm doing a whole thing, and I'm really excited about it because I get to use information that I've been learning. I also am just like, I hope this is acceptable for what, I mean, this is probably not what they were expecting me to present on, because it's more like information to help like work share places, but like they had an article on it, so technically I'm filling the requirement, so I don't know, we'll see. It's just a little work thing. If they don't like it, I'll do another one, whatever, you know. But this was what I wanted to talk about, and I hope that it's acceptable for them. I think that's the only thing that I'm like nervous about, is like, oh, this is probably not necessarily what they expected me to do. But when do I do what's expected, other than like trying to actually do my job? But like other than doing my job, when am I ever like normal or like do what people expect? Like that's just not me. So just gonna keep rolling with it, and hopefully it'll be fine. But I'm excited, and I do work with a diverse group and a very inclusive group, so I don't think it's going to be a hard sell, you know? I'm not like trying to convince anybody of anything that they don't pretty much already know. But it's also just something I want to talk about, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, gonna go try to get rid of this stupid headache, which is probably just gonna be here for another week, but yeah. I hope you guys are having a decent week, getting going, and thanks for being here. And always remember that you are enough.